Hello, I'm Rob, and today I'm going to be doing a video on my DVD collection. Many years ago, a lot of movie reviewers on YouTube did these videos quite often, and I've always gotten some requests to do a few of videos on these, but I've never really did them for a couple of reasons. For one, I always find those DVD collection videos to be very show-offish, like a host would be like, "Oh, look at these videos I got in my collection. I got thousands of them. See, all along the wall over here, I got here, this is my horror collection. I got DVDs on the floor. This is my comedy collection. This is where I keep my horror," and they always kind of rubbed me as a bit show-offish and kind of rubbed me the wrong way. And another reason was I wasn't sure whether I was comfortable with showing everybody what I had in my DVD collection. But after doing some consideration, I decided I will give it a try and see what happens. Now, something you're going to notice is I don't have very many DVDs. It's because I like to rent movies because I live by a library where you can rent them for free. I feel like if I buy a DVD, it's going to be a long time before I see them again, and that's usually the case. So I like to rent more than buy, but if it's a movie I really, really want to have in my collection, I will go out. Okay, what I'm going to do is instead of just scanning the camera, once in a while, if I see a movie that I think will be of interest, I'll stop and talk about them. So let's go ahead and this is where I keep the mostly family-oriented movies. Occasionally I'll see a movie that's not exactly family-oriented, like you see The Blues Brothers and The Best of Benny Hill. But a lot of the Disney films and a lot of the family films are over here. Like there's the Narnia movies, Coraline, classic horror movies like Dracula and Creature from the Black Lagoon. And here is The Dark Crystal. I like this movie much more than Labyrinth. There's a lot of people that prefer Labyrinth, but I just think it's a much more interesting sort of movie. And here is Eight Below with Paul Walker, who passed away not too long ago from the Fast and the Furious movies. Muppet movies, Harry Potter, Haunted Mansion, and there's the first Hobbit movie, Hotel Rwanda, Iron Man, Joe's Apartment, and some more Disney movies here. And here's some movies with the letter P, and there's Labyrinth right there. Nightmare Before Christmas, The Mummy, Lord of the Rings right there. I really like Bugs Bunny cartoons. They used to play Bugs Bunny cartoons a lot on the ABC network when I was a kid, and they really don't anymore, and that's a shame because I think that's a good way to get, kids to know those films. Okay, I do mix up some of my TV stuff in there. There's Sleepy Hollow with Johnny Depp. First Spider-Man. Okay, how many of you remember the movie Underdog? Yeah, it's kind of a forgettable movie. Sometimes I wonder why I have some of these movies in my collection. Okay, and there's Wreck-It Ralph right there by the Wolfman and the original Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory movie. Now over here is where I keep the more adult-oriented movies. Citizen Kane right there. Fiddler on the Roof. Now, Harold and Maude's a good movie. If you like dark comedies where they criticize the establishment, this one you might want to check out. It's from 1971. Let's see if I can get it in there with just one hand. There we go. War Games is another good one. If you are a Matthew Broderick fan, if you've never seen it, this one might be checked out more. Granted, the technology is a little bit out of date since this movie came out in '85, but it's about a guy, a hacker, who accidentally hacks into the government computers, and it's still a good movie. I think it's still relevant, even though the technology has changed a bit. Cabinet. All right. There's a few old comedies in here, like Red Skelton, Blazing Saddles, Animal House, Trading Places, Clockwork Orange. That's not a comedy, and it can be. It has a few dark moments here and there. The new Star Trek movie, Valkyrie. And for those of you that like Tim Burton's Dark Shadows, here's the DVD of the old 1970 version with the TV show's cast. It's on DVD. Here's where I keep my older movies mostly, and I'll probably be talking more about some of these movies more than the other ones. I just like old movies, so let's start over here. You'll notice that unlike the downstairs, most of these movies are not in order. I'm not usually an orderly type of person. I used to put them in the order I bought them in, but now they kind of got mixed up, so I just put them whenever. Alright, let's start over here. This is the 1933 version of Alice in Wonderland. Some of you may remember that Dave and I did a series of reviews when the Tim Burton film was coming out, where we would talk about different film versions of Alice in Wonderland. And let's see, they finally put this one out on DVD, and I got it as a gift, this one as a gift. This is good for any movie buffs, because even though this has an all-star cast, sadly a lot of the actors are forgotten unless you're a die-hard movie buff. And here's the 72 version. Dave and I reviewed this one, and the copy is not in good shape because it's a public domain print. You'll probably remember I've done videos where I warn people about public domain DVD companies. They use the cheapest print, but somebody did offer to get me a clean print, but I thought I don't watch this enough, so probably not. This one features a good British cast, including, you know, people like comedians like Peter Sellers and Dudley Moore, and musical stars like Michael Crawford, and even a Shakespearean actor by the name of Ralph Richardson. Okay, so that's hard to do it with one hand. There we go. So let's move on. Last Man on Earth is based on Richard Matheson's book I Am Legend, which got made into the Omega Men and later that Will Smith movie. Neither three I think is as good as the book. The book, when I read it, gave me the creeps. But this one I think is a little bit closer to the book. It's got Vincent Price. His picture's right there, Vincent Price. And even though he doesn't go up against vampire-like creatures, he goes up against zombies. I really like the movie, but it is very low budget. Dr. Caligari was the first silent movie I ever saw. It was on a PBS station when I watched it, and I was watching it, and my mom said back in those days they didn't have sound. So that was my first silent movie, and I tracked that down later because I thought it was an interesting looking movie. There's The Dark Knight. Okay, The Dark Knight's not an old movie, but I put it there nonetheless. Now this big guy right here is a series of Sherlock Holmes movies starring Arthur Wantner. I did a DVD on him when the Robert Downey Jr. sequel was coming out. He's kind of forgotten now, with unlike some other Holmes actors, but he played Holmes in the early 30s and he was popular for his time. Judgment at Nuremberg's a good movie. Ed Wood is my favorite Tim Burton movie, and this was made when Johnny Depp was still relatively unknown. He does a good job playing Ed Wood. I come across a lot of people that don't know who Ed Wood is, and he made a bunch of low-budget science fiction and horror movies in the 50s, and a lot of people have called them crap. Right, here's a pretty good one in the Thin Man movies. Mel Brooks comedies. Now, Mark of the Devil, Dave and I did a video where we discussed whether or not movies are better with or without subtitles. Like, we did a video whether people like watching movies either dubbed into their native language or it's subtitled with the original actors, you know, speaking their language. And this one was made in Germany and it was dubbed into different ones. So if you want to track that one down on the channel, you can. The Boris Karloff horror collection from Columbia Pictures. Got a few of his low-budget movies there. And some other recognizable titles. Marx Brothers, and I've got Love Happy right here. Alright, well that's pretty much my DVD collection. If you want to leave any feedback about this video, or if you want me to go into detail about more of these videos, go ahead and post your comments, and thank you very much for watching.